Drix, from what I understand, you checked out the Sandland demo. You're seeing it right here on the B-roll.
Oh yeah, this, of course I'm drawn by the Dragon Ball aesthetic. It has a cool cartoon style, but this demo, as far as an introduction to the game, was a bit of a limp handshake. So don't take anything that follows in like a super hard-hitting rating review context, because first of all, there's no story. You don't get to know any of the characters, but there is actually an anime you can watch if you want.
What?
Yeah, it's on Hulu. There is a Sandland TV show. So yeah, that's piquing my interest now. I need to dive into that. But there's not an opening. There's not even an opening cutscene. There is a cartoon, and it is elsewhere.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow. So how does this demo ease you in then?
It more or less doesn't, because there will be progression and experience and sort of this like survival vibe. So you're dropped into the desert, as the name implies. It is the opposite of Waterworld, where there's too much land and not enough water. And you're at level 15, so even in the demo, you don't really get any progression or experience. You see that it's there, you get to look at it, but it's centered more around the mechs and the vehicles that you drive. So there's a lot to explore, but there was, for the demo's purposes, there wasn't a lot to gain from it. So you get a feel for how hard the enemies are, pretty much. And it's like, it's all fun and games until you underestimate one or a group of them and you get jumped. But the cool thing is the demo gives you 3 vehicles. You get the
oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, a motorcycle, not too unlike the one that Bulma shows up in Dragon Ball. And then a mech and a tank. So humanoid, and big props over to the late great Akira Toriyama's mech design, because that's really selling the gameplay here.
It really pops.
Yeah, not enough credit goes that way for that, but you get 3 mechs to ride around on, and it's not really with the trend of like character action games, at least not at first, and you don't really see it in the demo, because just based on the atmosphere and look of it, I was expecting to like, beat people up like I was Dante and maybe rely on my friends whom you recognize from the anime sometimes. But no, this is really about the sort of Mad Max vehicle customization of it.
Oh, okay.
And then and of course plenty of map to explore. Like, I can only imagine the things you will stumble into and on top of, and the enemies you'll fight. You can wander off in any direction for what seems like days, and you'll see some stuff, but all the animals and people are just struggling to get by in the harsh environment. But eventually you do get to jump out of the vehicles and wander around an ancient ruin or what have you as Beelzebub, the child demon, and get involved with some fisticuffs and beat up monsters that way as you explore, which is cool. But this is just gameplay, only gameplay, and this is from what they presented is the core of the game. So if you're into vehicles, a little bit of combat, and exploring a giant map, getting lost in this land of sand, it's definitely something to check out.
So if it's all gameplay, how does it feel? Does the driving feel good? Is the combat nice? Did you get to experience combat in and out of the vehicle? Like, talk to me. Is there customizations? Talk to me about like the nitty gritty. Like, what does this demo have on display? Like, are you convinced? Like,
so while you don't find any items, it is about the parts that you equip your vehicles with. So some of them, will favor armor or speed, and will control a little bit differently. The controls kind of remind me of like the Warthog in Halo.
Okay.
Yeah. The motorcycle only goes in like forward and reverse, but the like the mech, they all feel pretty different. The mech is pretty slow. You might be seeing some of that in the B-roll, but he walks around like a grumpy old dude.
Yeah, he lumbers around,
but he
punches shit. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and the tank is, it's a tank as good as an old Call of Duty game. It's pretty fun actually, but again, you can customize it for speed or armor or different guns. The motorcycle came with an option for like a shotgun or like a Gatling gun.
Oh, cool.
So I can only imagine the depth and like you're definitely going to want to make some tweaks as you take on some of the bigger bosses and, harder fights that you find in the desert. You can actually, you can shoot like some of the projectiles out of the air too, which I thought was kind of neat.
All right.
There's like rockets coming at you and you can actually do something about it. It seems like a pretty neat kind of Saturday morning cartoon way to explore and also get your dose of action in.
So how do the controls feel? Are they like tight and responsive? Are they like snappy? Is it like arcadey, or is it more like a gritty feel, like down to earth? Like, do I really need to treat this kind of like I am piloting like you said, the every vehicle has its own feel, and like the motorcycle only goes back forward and reverse, and I'm seeing it on the B-roll. You're really taking some really sharp, gnarly turns to acquire the target and hit him with a blast of shotgun blast. Does that like feel good to do, or is it a little bit clunky? Like, how is the driving? Driving games is usually
a little slow.
Oh, okay.
I didn't catch on to the drift mechanic in the motorcycle first either. But yeah, it's a lot of you can call upon your traveling friends, and you kind of, there's a lot of like 2-button combinations. Like you have to hold the D-pad and pick a direction to pick a vehicle, or you can equip different special abilities and stuff, but they kind of take a while to recharge. Like the general cooldown is a bit on the longer side, So yeah, it's not. I wouldn't call it a fast game. It's really about surviving the long endurance test that is the desert.
Okay, so everything is much more like it's a lot more deliberate. Like you said, you're not doing like Dante Devil May Cry combos. You're not, but are you doing like Soulsy combos? Are you really committing to every attack, or is it more like that like Souls Light kind of thing where it's like, I'm throwing punches out there and they're big hits, but like I could move, like boost out of the way if I wanted to. Like, how is that? Is it like really gritty? Are you like really leaving yourself open when you're doing things like you're doing in the B-roll, like making big punches, going for grabs with the mech, or is that kind of snappy? Like,
no, it takes a bit too long, and you'll be punished if you miss like a big move or end up reloading at the wrong time.
Ooh, okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it feels soulsy, definitely on the soulsier side of things, because even the voice lines in the game will tell you, you want to give yourself an advantage before approaching this group of enemies, and you want to kind of take them seriously, especially if there's a big one involved, and you don't want to be caught at a disadvantage, or like without hydration, stamina. Yeah, and it's I died a fair amount, depending on which vehicle you're using. You don't have like a lot of health unless you customize it in that way. So yeah, not in the demo so much, but the way you tweak out your vehicles will definitely make things harder or easier. But all in all, like kind of low volume with the actions and the speed.
Okay, so yeah, it's got that like survival, long haul, like you said, it's more like a survival game than like a character action style game. Like
it's not like the Dynasty Warriors I'm playing right now.
Yeah, exactly. No, nothing like that. Hey, that sounds pretty fucking awesome though. That sounds a lot like that old Mad Max game on the PS4, like where it's like a survival game, but like it's all about the car. And like it's like an anime Pacific Drive. This looks like but in like the desert.
Yeah.
Like,
yep, with that classic Toriyama style.
Oh yeah, and hey, rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. I gotta say, the game looks great, and in motion, it looks like. You might say it's a little bit slow. That's why I had to ask if it was like really fast, because my God, it looks like you're doing like Twisted Metal high speed gunfight action over here. It's pretty crazy, but I think this looks pretty cool. I can't wait to try it out myself.
Yeah, get to it. It definitely piques my interest enough to make me want to pick this one up.